Black Adam. So for my brother Kyle's 11th birthday, he and his friends and the rest of my family were going to go see Black Adam. And I was the only one who wasn't going to go see it with them because I didn't have any interest to go seeing it until one of my brother's friends couldn't make it. So an extra ticket was available to me, so I thought to myself, why not? I got the kind of reviews I thought it would, but maybe it was okay or decent. But no, once the movie was over, I was the one guy who came out of the theater who ruined the mood of everyone else who said, because I said I was bored and didn't like it. But the kids around 10 years old liked it, and my parents and brother Matt thought it was entertaining. But I was the party pooper, of course, because, you know, I'm a critical and cynical jerk. Okay, they didn't tell me that, but I guess that's kind of what I feel about myself, you know. You're the one guy who didn't like it when everyone else does. And also, that wasn't the birthday party itself. I mean, there was cake and pizza at home, but you get the point I'm making. So Black Adam as a character in general is one of those characters I'd seen usually lined up in many DC properties in terms of big bads like video games or straight-to-DVD movies. I don't know much about Shazam, but his arch nemesis, Black Adam... Oh, actually, no, I do know Shazam was originally called Captain Marvel, but copyright with Marvel themselves, which I guess Marvel should have a character named Captain Marvel. Or was like, oh yeah, what I do know about Shazam is that his arch nemesis is probably Black Adam, and even then I could be wrong because I don't know much about this character. Either characters really outside the movies. But I do know that he was going to be the bad guy originally for the Shazam sequel. But because Dwayne Johnson is just so popular, he can't be second fiddle to Zachary Levi. He can't be the bad guy in the Shazam sequel. Like, we're supposed to be against Dwayne Johnson. He has to have his own movie because some other second reason that isn't Dwayne Johnson. Like, the only reason this got made was because, Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam. Dwayne Johnson's popular. Everyone loves Dwayne Johnson. To be fair, though, I did think, based on what he looked like when he had, like, shaved hair, like, when he had, like, shaved hair, oh, which I guess is back when he did have hair. He's bald. No, look, when he had, like, shaved hair, he didn't look like the perfect person to cast as his character, and I'm not saying he doesn't now just because he's bald, like, he still looks like he's probably one of the best choices to play this character. But let's ask this, what about everything else they shoehorned together to make this movie? Well, with the DC Cinematic Universe being a mess at the moment since Warner Bros. Pissed people off with the straight-to-streaming Batgirl movie that would have probably been okay at best. Honestly, it looked bad from the screenshots. And try and figure out what to do now for the properties, and we'll figure out something when the Flash movie comes out, when Michael Keaton and Michelle Pfeiffer reunite on screen as Batman and Catwoman, because it'll probably be the last movie people will be, oh yeah, I remember them from the other movies. Like, that's like the last movie they have left that can do this. I think they've run out of movies to make requels on. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself because, you know, that's a different movie. But speaking of shoving together characters in different superhero character movies, Black Adam. Transition. Oh, and actually, you know, speaking of this movie, you know, for the most of the movie, he's referred to as Teth-Adam, but more confusing stuff happens, so moving on from that. So years after Black Adam, I'm going to call him that because that's what he's actually advertised as, got sealed away or something. So fugitive archeologist university professor Adrianna, played by Sarah Shahi. Why did I pronounce it like that? Played by Sarah Shahi. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that last name right. I'm so rude. She frees him and he decides to help her people take down Intergang, who oppress their people in Kahndaq. Because he's dangerous and killing people in the process, Amanda Waller, who I'm pretty sure the writers mistook her for being the DC's Nick Fury equivalent, which she's not, but, so I don't know why, actually I do know. Viola Davis is kind of popular and we could get her for a day to say this stuff. She was in the Peacemaker show for a day, kind of. Anyways, so she gets in contact with the Justice Society of America, because if we have to make 2 movies to get to people being happy with a Justice League movie, we don't even get a movie to explain what the Justice Society is, what makes them different from the Justice League, why there is a Justice Society when the Justice League exists, so, you know, let alone explain why the Justice Society exists with the Justice League. Or, you know, where these people who are on the Justice Society come from. Like, is this in tangent with the Justice League? I don't know. I know this is like, I think the Justice Society was a thing existed before Justice League, but the Justice League had the famous characters. I don't know, and I don't care. Anyways, so they get Hawkman, played by Aldis Hodge, and Dr. Fate, played by Pierce Brosnan, who I do think this is good casting for the latter character. Like, Pierce Brosnan is a great choice for Dr. Fate. But we'll get into the other characters in a bit. So the plot is Black Adam is helping out people in Kahndaq, but because he's killing people in the process who kill other people along the way, the JSA wants to take him down so he doesn't hurt people in the process, even though they themselves also, cause destruction in the process. It's so hypocritical. Like, you may not kill, but you're still causing as much damage as him. Now I have a headache. So Black Adam as a character in this movie should be fantastic. Again, I don't know his origins in the comics. I don't know if it's different. But in the movie, his origins about becoming Teth-Adam, I honestly thought when they first said that, I thought they said Death-Adam first. Like, it sounds a little stupid, but I don't know. Anyways, it's a great villain origin. He would want revenge on people, or at least not care what others think of him. And I get DC characters are strongly against killing people. Mostly, insert whatever joke you want to make about this movie in comparison to, Tim Burton, Batman, or Zack Snyder, Superman, blah, blah, blah. But the problem here is that I side with Black Adam easily since he's the only person who's helping out these people. No, who's helping out the people, who need help. Granted, I don't know why. So the professor archaeologist woman is the mother of this kid who is so generic. I think they call him the boy more times than his real name, so I'll just call him the boy too. Anyways, the boy loves superheroes, and without really explaining to Black Adam what that really means, like, he just explains to them, you could be a superhero, and Black Adam's like, okay. And he just asks him to protect the city like he did during this 5,000 years ago. Like, when he first wakes up, it's immediately like, okay, protect the city because you were our protector before. It's like, take a day at least of, be comfortable with the fact that you woke up 5,000 years in the future. But no, it's immediately like, nah, I'll be your protector. And to be fair, I guess with the backstory, I could kind of see why, even knowing the predictable twist. And I like seeing something else about him, like him already knowing his powers, and we learn that what they are along the way as the film goes along, rather than we have to wait for him to figure out how to master them. Like, he already knows it, and we discover his weakness at the same time, so that's good. Like, it isn't just he's unstoppable. I actually guess I really don't have any problems with Dwayne Johnson in the movie. He nails the character. The character could have been written so much better. Like, a lot of motivation is never explained for him, and even then, for backstory, it doesn't really fully explain what he does in the future, since there is no time for him to really, feel impact on him. Like, he does things to others, but I already know what this has to him that feels impactful. But, since it's not a great character, and he's not developed well, I want to like him, though, because for his backstory and intriguing ideas this character could bring, like, there's a lot of things that could this movie offer in terms of interesting ideas. Like, maybe, like, he is, because he is killing, he's the only one who's, like, actually doing anything that's getting somewhere. Like most movies that do have this argument idea of, well, killing is wrong, but it is getting things accomplished. But, no, let's give so much time to Noah Centineo being the worst in this movie. Like, my God, I hated him in this movie. Like, even in the movie, within the movie, people don't like him. Like, why, God, why do you write a character intentionally awkward because you think that's funny? Like, no, he's just awkward. So they added Atom Smasher and Cyclone in the movie just because they needed more comedy, even though they served no purpose and could have made the movie so much shorter if they just cut their scenes. Like, they could be rewritten out of it and serve no purpose. Like, I don't know. Like, a part of me kind of feels like they always had them in mind just so they could be like, oh, we need comic relief. But yeah, they serve no purpose to the story. Granted, I've heard that enough, so I don't have to go on about that. And I will say, I really like Aldis Hodge and Pierce Brosnan's performances in the movie. Like, they are great in the movie. Like, it feels like they could have easily sleepwalked through this. And no, they are great. Problem is, they give you no explanation of who these characters are. Little, if any. Like, I heard a woman near me actually ask someone else when they first see Hawkman saying, is that Black Falcon? Like, I actually heard her say, is that Black Falcon? Just because the guy's black. Like, wow. He has golden wings. Like, you at least would say something like Gold Falcon? I don't know. Well, I felt something alright when I heard that, though. I didn't like what I felt, but, at least I felt something. But, this movie made me feel empty, but more on that later. So if you don't know who Hawkman is, he's rich and has giant wings and a mace. Wait, what? That just proves they're hypocrites even more. I mean, if the movie is about them being hypocrites, that'd be one thing, but I don't think they realize that. It's just action for the sake of fun action. I feel like there's more to him. Like, there is a reincarnation thing. Hawkgirl, for one instance. Like, I feel like I've heard more about Hawkgirl than Hawkman. Maybe that was because of the cartoon. I don't know. Oh, yeah. But if you don't know who Dr. Fate is either, he's DC's Doctor Strange equivalent. You wouldn't know what makes him different or what makes him work as a character on his own without making that comparison. Like, if I didn't know who Dr. Fate was, and I'm not even an expert on him, I've seen him like a couple things, but if I didn't know anything, I would just think, so he's Doctor Strange, but with a golden helmet? Like, I would think that without second thought, because there is nothing about him explained. Like, he can kind of predict the future, but so did Doctor Strange at first, so... No, he is just DC's equivalent to Doctor Strange in this movie. There is never time given to sit down and get to know any of these characters' interests or motivation. Like, it's vague. Like, I want to feel like I know them, but I don't. Their interaction, Dr. Fate and Hawkman's interactions with each other are good, and I do feel like they do have a friendship, but that's bare minimum as it gets. It's the most boring I had in a superhero movie in a while. I felt in a while, since they expect you to take each and every character at face value, and that's it. Like, I didn't feel like I got to know these people, so I didn't care. It's just mindless entertainment. Like, this just feels like a definition, one of those movies that you just say, it's mindless entertainment, why care at all? It's about the fun action and all that. It's like, yeah, I could just watch these in clips. Why watch the full movie? There's a scene later in the movie where I could kind of see where they were kind of going for, where, like, Black Adam accidentally hurts a kid, the boy, so he thinks the JSA is right about him, albeit he saves the kid's life in the process. Like, he may have hurt the kid doing it, but he did save him. Like, it was either that or the kid just dies. And the parallel that could be made with Black Adam's backstory to the boy, if there was time for them to, like, bond or get along, or, like, there actually feel a connection, it would work. But, like, no, they just speedrun this movie. The boy just tells Black Adam to go be a superhero, he kills the bad guys, the JSA are after him, rinse, repeat, end. Of course, then the third act starts, where it's like, yeah, I don't think the movie's over. I think there's going to be something for the third act, because, you know, then the movie would be over, and then, you know... I'm so tired ranting. So, and any other positive I could say about the movie, other than Johnson, Hodge, and Brosnan's performances, which did get honest laughs on me from time to time. Like, this is the kind of movie that has humor forced into it, but the humor, I think it got me more laughs than less laughs, so... There's that. The action was okay, albeit so fake looking, because, you know, it's such a CGI everything. Like, okay, they use so much slow-mo. I could just see so many times in my head, like, okay, that's CGI, that's CGI. Like, however, considering the wide variety of superheroes, is a lot of fights that are cool looking and imaginative. I wish there was a good story to go with it, but watching each scene back to back, yeah, I couldn't give a crap. The story went in every direction I thought it would. Albeit, you know, speed run for a 2-hour movie, even though it could be cut to like 90 probably if you rewrote it. And there's even a CGI skeleton army in the third act that was one of the worst effects I've seen in the movie with, you know, an almost $200 million budget. But, you know, I just feel bad for the CGI effect artists these days. You know, they're worked to death, and I don't blame them, because, you know, I could rewatch the fight scenes or even some air moments of this movie on their own, but as a whole, the script is weak and studio driven. The applause this movie got during its mid-credit scene, oh my god, I feel like I was the only guy in the theater who did not give a crap for the mid-credit scene. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care that the actor they got coming back is a big deal for people, because, you know, yeah, I don't know if this is, you can say this is a spoiler, because I'm being vague as possible, even if you can guess who. It's like the fact that people were like, oh man, oh hey, he's back. Yeah, he never left. He was in the Thing last year, for God's sake. Like, you know, it's not like he was really gonna leave. I don't care. I just don't. Shouldn't have been Shazam. He's Shazam's arch enemy. I don't care if these two fought or were in other things. Like, I think there was some animated thing with these two together fighting, but I just don't care. You know, because I don't care so much. In fact, the movie was so confused. The end shot it ends on, like, I don't know. It's like, the shot they're ending on, the music is supposed to make it look like this is triumphant. Like, this is a great thing, but, like, the shot I'm looking at, it makes it look like this is a shot for like a villain, and yet he's an anti-hero. So, you know, I don't know if Black Adam's conclusion really works when I know so little about him, and I don't really know, like, what's gonna happen to him after this movie. I don't really know what else there is to him after this. And I couldn't care at all. It's just mindless entertainment, so it's not the worst movie I saw this year, but one of the most endy feelings I have seen in a movie in theaters. That I went to go see in theaters. You know, at home I could feel empty about so many other movies. But hey, I'd rather rewatch this than Halloween Ends. There weren't a lot of good movies this weekend, but hey. Yeah, I got nothing. I give Black Adam a 4.5 out of 10.